Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thanksgiving edition of the Boxscore Geek Show. We're going to let y'all get to your turkey soon, but we just want to do a quick check-in, see how everybody's enjoying the new NBA season. My name is Patrick Minton. I'll be your host tonight. And in the booth above me or beside me, or I don't actually know which direction you're
at,
Brian.
To your
is
left.
The voice to my left is the voice of God, who is probably also the face of God today, Brian Foster. Say hello.
Hey, what's up? Glad we got a show, and we're going to try to do a short one tonight. That almost never works, but yeah, Dre's a little bit worn out tonight. He's he's got some new members of the family coming pretty soon, or just one. So yeah,
I mean, it's got to be any day now, right?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, that'll be exciting. But so you're stuck with the two of us tonight, and we'll have the usual punditry.
Okay, so before we get too far, I want to point out to everybody who might be right now looking at their monitor thinking, oh my God, what is that? This is my fancy new Movember mustache. I'm trying to raise some money for fucking cancer this month. So if you'd like to help me get to my goal of a paltry $200, visit my Movember link, which we'll provide in the show notes, and donate a little bit of money to help fight cancer. It's the least you can do in these troubled times.
I think I'll take you up on that, Patrick. We just lost Sharon Jones and Gwen Ifill to cancer, two great Americans. So yeah, I'm sure many more that I'm not even thinking of.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Movember is mostly about men's health and men's cancer, but frankly, any form of cancer can just fuck right off as far as I'm concerned. So I'd appreciate that if you guys would make this incredible pain of this really itchy and scratchy thing, just make it do some good. That's all I'm saying. Make it be worthwhile.
I was going to warn you about the caterpillar on your face, but that's not actually it. Okay, glad you told me.
This is just, I don't understand how normal people actually choose to do this full time, because it feels like I have one of those coarse rugs that you rub your feet on out in front of your door before you. That's what it feels like is on my face. It's all pointy and scratchy. Ugh. Anyway, how about we talk about the NBA? What do you think about the NBA so far?
It's been.
Brian?
I mean,
don't say Golden State.
I'm Mr. Super Team over here. Boy, I love it. The Warriors are so good, and so we're going to talk about the portfolio a little bit here, but yeah, we can jump into the simple rating system right now. If anyone who's new to the show, that's basically a modified margin of victory that is takes schedule and opponents into account. You can find it on Basketball Reference here. And just to explain even farther, that's the biggest, most correlated with winning of any stat is margin of victory. So the Clippers are still just bashing everyone. They're by far the best team in the year this year. Like we said last week, Chris Paul has been the best player in the NBA by far this year too. But the Warriors have passed the Spurs, Cavs, and Bulls. They're into second place. They have a 10.2 margin of victory, 8.5 SRS since they've had a weaker schedule. But, so we were saying last time that, and Patrick, I'm trying to remember, was it just Dre and I last time? So you haven't gotten to talk about this, right?
I wasn't there last week, yeah.
So what I was saying last time is these top 10 teams, I think they look like teams we expected to be in the top 10 probably. Maybe not quite in this order.
We the three of us, or
people overall. The Rockets are a little bit of a surprise.
The Bulls were not on people's radar this
Okay,
this
that
high.
could be. The
Bulls were not this high. Neither were the Hawks.
Jimmy Butler is probably second MVP, by the way. Jimmy Butler's been
Bulls,
amazing.
and Hornets are surprising everybody.
Okay, so they
to some degree the Thunder, but with the Thunder, people were always like, "Well, you got Russell Westbrook, anything can happen." But the Bulls, Hawks, and Hornets are definitely, and even probably the Rockets too. But the Bulls, Hawks, and Hornets for sure were not on people's radar.
So they are maybe in the 10 to 15 range, not 5 to 10 like they are. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, I think the Bulls, what was the Vegas over under the Bulls was 41.
That's a good point. And
the Vegas over under on the Hawks was also around that area, probably 42 maybe.
I don't know if you want to segue to the portfolio now, but that's a good
No. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm just saying, those were pretty big surprises, I think. I don't think the top four surprises really very many people, other than perhaps the order. Um, but I think the next like 4 or 5 are a little bit surprising.
One interesting thing about the Hawks and Clippers here is they're doing it with defense. They both have D ratings of nearly 100. So those, to me, just a quick glance, look like by far the best out of all these teams, even better than the Spurs. The Hawks are like, okay, well, they added Dwight Howard, great defender. Cephalosha, who's also a great defender, is healthy now. So maybe you'd expect the Hawks to be a good defensive team, a well-coached team. But the Clippers are kind of surprising me. Obviously, Chris Paul is great, and Jordan is great as well. But the rest of their roster, I don't know. I never thought of them as a defensive team.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers are always kind of... I mean, you have Chris Paul, who's a pretty good defender. You have DeAndre Jordan, who's for some reason never gotten the rep as a good defender, but I think
didn't even make the All-Star team last year.
Yeah, I know, but even 2 or 3 years ago when he was blocking lots of shots, nonetheless, nobody thought he was a good defender. I think Dwight Howard is kind of surprising. He just kind of looks like the old Dwight Howard again. I guess moving back to the Eastern Conference is what he needed. And you're right. And Cephalosha coming back was kind of something that most people didn't really consider in this, but he's kind of a beastly defender. That kind of thing makes a big difference. But I think the real big surprise with Atlanta has got to be Mike Muscala, he's a player who's been on our radar for a long time. I remember he way back in the day, maybe it was 2010 or 11. When was that? When we had our when on the Wages of Wins we had a sort of a who's the next Jeremy Lin.
Well, so one thing about Muscala is he was rated really high in all the draft models, right? Like Arturo, Ari Caroline, Lane Vasher. I think all those guys really like Muscala. And I can't remember how long he's been in the league, maybe 3 or 4 years now. But yeah.
I think this is his 4th.
Okay, well, we'll bring up his team page.
And we kind of have been waiting for him to break out, but he's kind of gotten a little better every year. And it looks like this might be the year he's going to break out. But it's always been, with him, of course, always a minutes thing. Which is kind of one of those things that really I never understand. I don't. I mean, there's. I guess I don't understand why some like top 10 picks they get thrown into the fire. They play 25, 30 minutes a game, and then 3 years later, when they still suck, they're still playing 30 minutes a game. Whereas the guys who are drafted in the second round or very late first round, they just have to fight hard for minutes forever until the coach finally gives it to him. It's always a bit of a mystery to me. I feel like last year he should have gotten more than, what is he going to get, 600 minutes or something like that? He should have gotten more minutes than that. And this year it looks like he's going to be a key part of their rotation. So we'll see if his strong start can hold up. I mean, I'm inclined to think it will, because it's not, based on crazy shooting or anything. It's it's based on keeping low turnovers and rebounding the ball. And
I sort of disagree. So he's at 66% true shooting. I don't know if he can keep that up.
But if you look at this low field goal, like he shoots less than Dwight Howard, who's also a guy who shoots every time he touches the ball. So I think it may not stay at 66, but I don't expect a huge drop off there, because he's just clearly he's not the guy taking a bunch of shots that he should not be taking. So I expect his numbers to stay high there. But he's not turning the ball over. He's not rebounding. He's rebounding the ball fine. He's not committing fouls. He's doing a lot of things that are more or less sustainable. So
yeah. Either way, it's just a really small amount of minutes.
Having the amazing performance he's having so far, he may not stay at that level, but I think he'll stay at a very good level. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the other kind of big surprises are the Lakers. Think anyone thought they would be above 500 at this point in the season.
Now, do you have that over in your portfolio, Patrick? The Lakers over?
Oh. And I'm already a third of the way there.
Oh, that's so nice.
Only played 15 games. And as you were mentioning in the pre-show, that Russell's out now. How long is he out? Do you know how long he's out?
Just like 2 weeks, I think. Not that long.
So this might actually be a good thing for them, because Calderon, Lou Williams, Jordan Clarkson, they're all playing pretty decent ball and actually playing, mostly better than Russell, because I mean, we all love the guy's potential. He was high on our draft models and everything, but he hasn't been playing at a superstar level. I mean, let's just say he's not the reason they are 8-7 so far. I think if we had to point that reason, it would be a junior, Mr. Larry Nance Jr. would probably.
Yeah, let me complain about the Lakers for a little bit now. So Larry Nance Jr. was really good last year too. He's playing at superstar level. To be fair, in only 300 minutes this year. Tarek Black.
This early in the season, 300 minutes is substantial.
That's true. No, it is. I mean, they're not giving anyone real heavy minutes. They're kind of spreading them out evenly here. But Tarek Black is also playing at a star level, and he's another bench player for them. So, I mean, they should be starting Nance and Black over whoever they're starting. That's, it seems like a bad call for them.
I thought Nance was the starter.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Well, I could be wrong.
They're playing the Warriors tonight, so I'll give you my full scouting
Russell
report.
and Randall. And then Nick Young is the starting shooting guard, right? I've only seen like 2 games here, so bear with me. So they start. Dang is probably the starter.
He's not. I mean, he's probably a good. We like that pickup for them because they overpaid him, but he's still, a player that'll help them win games.
This year, he's been pretty much terrible this year, right?
Yeah, he should be showing his age.
And by the way, this isn't us just peddling the crazy Boxscore Geek system here. I mean, talk to the coaches, talk to guys like Coach Nick at B-Ball Breakdown. They love Larry Nance. Larry Nance is just he's a great player doing great little. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. He's doing all the little things, but of course, if they help you win, then they're really the big things, not the little things. Just because it always seems weird to me that a shot is considered like a big thing, whereas setting a good screen is considering a little thing, even though you could very much argue that setting the screen is much harder than taking a shot.
Sneak preview, I've got a DeRozan rant for later in the show, but go ahead.
Well, so I mean, you look at Nance Jr. He's averaging 3 steals per 48 minutes, which is kind of amazing for a man of his size. He's almost no turnovers. He's averaging 11 rebounds per 48 minutes. He's not committing lots of fouls. He's just getting it all done, right? And all while shooting at And again, he's not a guy taking every shot because that's apparently what they want Nick Young to do, or D'Angelo Russell.
I read a headline that he stole someone else's pass to get a game-winning shot the other day. Did you hear about that?
Who did?
Nick Young did. That's funny if true, but anyway. So I have got the ESPN Lakers depth chart up, and they are 8-7. They're in the Pacific Division. So maybe this depth chart is right, maybe it's not. But they say the starters are Clarkson and Russell in the backcourt. And we'll have to see if they put in.
Young is coming off the bench, but he's like second on the team in minutes.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if they put in Williams or Calderon or Huertas tonight. Huertas is getting some minutes too. But in the front court is Randall, Mozgov, and Deng. Nance and Tarek Black are both coming off the bench. So as is their, rookie Brandon Ingram. So yeah, they've got to give their better big men some more minutes. But it's hard to complain. They're doing well, right, Patrick?
Well,
Good job,
like you said,
Luke Walton.
It's he's kind of doing that Golden State thing where he's spreading around. He's playing 10 players every night, pretty much. I'm really gonna be excited to see what Luke Walton can do once some of this detritus, this leftover stuff from the previous regime is gone. Like when Nick Young is no longer a factor, for instance. I'm kind of excited to see what they'll do. But anyway, I mean that's exciting for me. Another big surprise, I think, for a lot of people is Charlotte. Who's what are they 9-5 right now?
Yeah, something like that. Let's bring them up here.
And 8-5, I guess.
Yeah.
And it looks like they lost to the Spurs in a tight one tonight. So now they're 8-6. But I still think this is going to be a big, a solid over bet, I think, here.
Yeah, now to be fair, you did have this over bet in your portfolio, and so did Arturo and everyone else. Like, everyone was all over this one. All the real sharp people.
It was the best bet on the board.
Vegas screwed this one up.
I think I personally thought the Lakers were the best bet on the board, but
okay.
But just because it's always obviously it's always easier to beat a low over than a like 42 games is going to have a much smaller margin of error than over 24 games or 25 games, whatever we got for the Lakers, right?
That's true. And everything is kind of happening the way we expected it to here, right? Batum is playing great. He's actually healthy. Walker, who was an all-star last year, I think, at least we want him to be one, has been even better this year. He's been great. Kid Gilchrist is healthy, too. He's been playing like a star. Cody Zeller has been playing great, too. All the Zellers are good, so any Zellers you can get on your team are awesome to have. So, yeah, all their guys have been delivering. Here's the one complaint I'll make about Charlotte is Marvin Williams has been a good player in the past. He's not having a great season this year, and I think he's a little bit overrated. Their coach came out and said something like, he's the prototypical power forward in this day and age in the NBA, and I don't agree. I think he's a small forward playing out of position. He doesn't rebound that much. He doesn't do any big man stuff. It's just like, I don't know. I hate small lineups, and I wish he was playing more at small forward, but it's hard to say that when they have Batum and Kid Gilchrist, I guess. But anyway.
So this is going to lead me to kind of what I wanted to talk to next, which is the Timberwolves.
Oh, good. Oh, well.
If there's any bet on this board that I would like to light on fire and then throw in a vat of gasoline, it would be the bet on the Timberwolves over. I mean, I suppose they're still in it because their simple rating system is rating is a little better than their record. Like I feel like they probably would be. So they're 4-9 now. I think they'd probably be 5-8 or maybe even 6-7 if you kind of look at their rating. But I feel like that's heavily inflated by a couple of their wins were big blowout wins. So early in the season, that can have a big impact on their overall, their average margin of victory. So the thing about them. Everybody's raving about Karl Anthony Towns, and I was too in the preseason. But here's the thing: he has not started strong at all.
No.
And the primary reason is, even though he's shooting well, his defensive numbers just do not look good. He's obviously he's doing a lot of things that for big man are kind of wow and really exciting, but I actually thought he was one of the dominant big men in the NBA period, not just for rookies last year at the end of the year. This year, he looks like it's kind of a big step back. His rebounds are down. His blocks are down. His steals are down. His turnovers are up a little bit. He's shooting more threes and doing exciting things. That's true. But the thing you always got to keep in mind with these big men, they talk about the modern NBA big man. And from an offensive perspective, the modern NBA big man has changed a lot because you want to stretch the floor, you want to be able to shoot threes, things like that. And so that has impact on how you want them to play defense too. But here's the thing. This has always been true about the NBA, and in the modern NBA, it's more true than ever before. Somebody's got to rebound defensively. Somebody's got to protect the rim on defense. Somebody's got to do dirty work underneath the basket. Somebody has to do those things. And if your big man is not doing those things, then even if he's shooting lots of threes and making lots of threes, well, then he's just Channing Frye. He's not a game changer, right?
Yeah.
To be a game changer, you have to be able to do all those things defensively in addition to being able to stretch the floor and do amazing things offensively. Because believe it or not, with the fact that people are shooting all these threes, what that means though is defenses get spread out, and that means people are also getting more shots at the rim because the defense is so spread out. And so it's more important than ever to have a big man or two that can protect the rim when people drive to the rim. I mean, that hasn't changed. So what I really want to see from Karl Anthony Towns, if we're going to really talk about him becoming the next big thing after Anthony Davis, is those defensive things. There's been some flashes of it, but I don't see what I saw like at the end of last year, and even to some extent in the preseason. And then, don't get me started on Andrew Wiggins. It's like,
well, also on Towns. Okay, so one thing about him is for his age, he's playing really well. Like you wouldn't expect to play this young. It's just we were thinking, hey, this is going to be Anthony Davis, right? Like he's just going to.
He's the next, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So he's kind of level. Okay, so let me ask you something about his stats here. Do you have him open in front of you right now? Or look at my screen sharing here. So he's at 2 points over par right now per minute.
He's definitely good, but
per 48, which is the same as last year. 5 points. Right. Yeah. So How
was
is
taking
it
a big leap.
How is he at 1.9 points over par this year and 2.0 last year when his rebounds and blocks have dropped so precipitously? His shooting is like the same. He's only taking 2 more shots per game. He's getting to the line a lot more. Do you think getting to the line is enough to make up for all that defense?
No, that's the thing. I think his offensive game has improved.
Okay.
But you like what you wanted was for that defensive game to stay and be so dominant while the offensive game improves and you get a huge net improvement. And when you're looking at these numbers, the blocks are way down, the rebounds are way down. The fouls, interestingly enough, are the same. So you also kind of wanted those to either go down or at least because the fouls of blocks and rebounds are all kind of intertwined in sort of a risk reward scenario, right? So if you're getting a lot of blocks, then that's great, except if you're committing lots of fouls while trying to get blocks, right? So what you want to do is you want that like sort of block to foul ratio to be reasonable, because the last thing you want is a guy who's just chasing blocks and he's getting lots of blocks per game, but he's also on the pogo stick for every offensive player's head fake and getting tons of fouls. You don't want that. So it's really weird to me that his fouls have stayed the same, but his blocks have gone down. I would expect if his blocks have gone down, it'd be one thing if I could say, okay, his fouls have also gone down because he's being coached to like not leave his feet so much and things like that. But that's not what we're seeing happening. His fouls are still up there. So what's going on? And this is where a coach might get involved and like actually do a breakdown and tell us what's going on.
A B-ball breakdown. Shout out to Coach Nick.
B-ball breakdown.
His assist-to-turnover ratio has improved somewhat, and it seems like a small amount, but those are small numbers to begin with, so kind of the ratio has improved a little. So anyway, we'll have to watch him and see how he does. It's so early in the season still. 450 minutes is starting to get to be significant.
It is, but let's just be honest. A team that starts 4-9, how many times does that team come back to be above 500 team? If they were going to turn it around and become an above 500 team, they would have to go on a tear really soon, and do one of those like, let's just win 10 games in a row kind of things. And I just having watched the games, I don't see it happening because Andrew Wiggins kind of looks like the same player he was last year to me. It's all about his shooting. If he has a great shooting night, he's above average. If he has a bad shooting night, he's below average because he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't rebound. He doesn't get steals. He's not doing the other things. So it's hard for me to imagine with him getting the minutes that he's getting. It's hard for me to imagine this becoming a 45 win team or whatever that is. I mean, I think I need them to win 43, which at this point means going forward, they have to be better than most playoff teams.
Yeah. And a big problem is that their health is pretty good right now too. And guys like Rubio probably aren't going to play the whole season, but yeah, Wiggins. So looking at his shooting a little bit more, first of all, he's taking the most shots on the team, even more than Towns, which isn't right. His true shooting is 56%. So you're like, okay, that's not bad for, a wing player. However, all that is coming from his 3-pointers. He's at 45%. We'll see if he can keep that up.
Big step down from how he started, right?
Yeah, that's like Steph Curry territory. His 2-point is not that great, and of course he takes a ton of twos and not very many threes.
That's the thing that drives me nuts even watching, right? Is so many times like he passes up threes to take twos and not good twos, right? He loves that little sort of jab, step back jumper, or he'll come off a curl, catch the ball and take a step like one step inside the 3-point line and shoot it 2, and it's like just killing me to watch it. And I blame Sam Mitchell for most of that, right? That's where those habits came from. Sam Mitchell and before him Flip Saunders. That his first year in the league, they should have been concentrating on having him be a 3-and-D player. Getting those habits.
Yep.
Even if his 3-point shot wasn't that good then, it still should have been trying to instill those habits of, that the 3-point line matters. There's a thing is like, it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to take some twos, and maybe you disagree with me about what percentage of twos make good twos or not. As a coach, we can go back and forth about this, but he plays. You watch him play. It's very obvious he's not really paying attention to where the 3-point line is. The 3-point line isn't like a strategic factor in his decision making. And that's why he's not good yet, because until you get to the point where that really is, where that 3-point line is a big neon fucking light that influences your decision making, and it's one of the huge factors you use, like almost important as the out of bounds line, right? Imagine a player who'd love to drive the baseline but didn't pay attention to like where it is, so he stepped out of bounds all the time. That's kind of the sort of level of mistake it is to be playing out on the perimeter and not always strategically using the 3-point line. He kind of plays as if it's not there. And if he happens to be behind the line when he shoots, it's a 3, and if he happens to be a step over it, it's a 2. And he's not paying attention to that distinction. He doesn't seem to understand that 6-inch difference is a fucking mile of difference in shot quality. It's really frustrating to watch, as you can tell by the way I'm reacting right now.
And so Thibodeau is a big coaching upgrade, right? But he's known as a defensive coach.
He's also doing great stuff offensively.
Oh, right? Okay.
They're already taking and making many more threes than they did last year. At one point, they were leading the league in 3-point shooting after I think 7 or 8 games. But yeah, I mean, you can already see a lot of improves in the offense. But there's only so much you can do with a team full of 20-year-olds.
So I've got the portfolio up on screen here. Is there any more of these we want to talk about? We've hit a lot of the interesting ones already. Brooklyn Nets are an interesting one. They're looking even worse than the 76ers, but it's not a very big number for them to hit.
They started out so well. They started out like 4-4 or something. Like what are they at now?
They only have 2 wins, I think. No, they have more than that.
What?
The Mavericks only have 2. They're the worst team.
Wait, hang on. Then I thought the Nets bet was looking okay for me.
Oh, maybe it is, because 22 is a really small number. Maybe they can hit that. They're behind the 76ers in the division.
They're behind. They're at 4-9 is not good, obviously, but
that's not bad for 22.
So again, the Nets. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they have a draft pick. So tanking means nothing to them, right?
Yeah,
so
they're just they have no
what that
talent.
means is wait until those games in February and March where they're playing against teams that want to lose every night. And the Nets are full of players who have no incentive to lose, who are all playing for contracts. I think they're going to win enough games to beat that 22 threshold. And those dog days are going to be the deciding days.
So I had the Mavericks as a topic, but I think we're going to skip it. But maybe real fast, do we want to say anything about them? They're the worst team in the league. I guess I'm a little surprised by that. I thought they'd be not great, but not this bad. There are players who are just kind of old and hurt. Like Bogut is hurt. Dirk is hurt, and Well,
all I could say there is like the age bit, was always going to be a problem for them.
Darren Williams too.
And Bogut's got a long history of not being able to stay healthy, so that's not super surprising. But I didn't. I was thinking this could be like a 35-win team. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I don't think anyone saw that. But this is the way it is with old teams. They're chugging along and they're getting a little worse, and then eventually, boom! It's like the milk goes sour all at once.
That's right. Mark Cuban has declared the Mavericks will not tank this year recently. So good on Mark Cuban. Tanking is not the right answer. Try to win as many games as you can, for sure, Mark Cuban.
Yeah. All I can say is like the way this season is going so far, I'm really happy about all my bets around Golden State, right?
Yeah.
The over at 66.5 is starting to look pretty good. And also the fact that they aren't the favorite to win it all is also good for me because, they got to go through at least one of, and maybe even both of San Antonio and LA, who are both playing great. And then the Cavaliers look even better than they did last year. So even if they get through those, they still have to beat Cleveland. And even if you consider them a favorite in all 3 of those matchups, the odds just aren't going to favor them above the field. So I'm kind of excited about the prospect of getting, the double there. Like I told you in the pre-show, I hope they win like 75 games and then lose in the finals.
I would be so sad if that happened, but at least we'd make a few $100 on the portfolio if that happened.
No, they won't win that many games, and I think one of the primary reasons is they're going to be very, if they're down and there's like, and there's like 15 games less in the season and they've already won 65 or something like that, they're not going to push too hard because I think they really don't want that pressure that they had last year of, oh, well, shit, now we broke the record. Now we have to win it all, or we're going to be the losers that broke the record and didn't win it all. I think they want to avoid that sort of scenario.
Yeah, there are many reasons they gave up that 3-1 comeback. The biggest of which is that Bogut and Curry were hurt. And so, of course, there's second guessers, right? Well, if they had not pushed so hard to get to 73, maybe those guys would have been healthy. I think that's...
But even though the injuries happened in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous though, right? Like, how did Curry get hurt? He slipped on a puddle of sweat. Like, that's not a fatigue injury. That's like a freak injury. So
that was freaky because that guy, what was his name, Montezunis or whatever?
Yeah.
He like slipped the same way like 4 different times in that game. It was the most amazing thing to like, dude, how many times can you slip on your ass in the NBA in one game?
It's a fix. It was on purpose. No, I doubt
really
it.
Did look. I mean, we all know it wasn't a fix, but it's kind of thing. It's one of those probability things. It just makes you rip your hair out. It's like, okay, we made it this far, and then some giant Serbian player just slipped on his ass 4 times in a game.
So this Rockets over is looking okay too. They're playing pretty well.
Yeah, it's going to be touch and go. We're going to be sweating that all year long, I think.
Pat Beverly, once he comes back, although Harden's been a good point guard. Well, he's been like an early years Russell Westbrook point guard, just taking a ton of shots, gotten a ton of assists, and gotten a ton of turnovers. So he's been very good this season. Their pickups have been okay. They haven't been bad. Let's see. Who do we want to cover anyone else here, or are we pretty much good on this? We'll be sweating the Grizzlies.
I want to mention that the unders, every year I say to myself, okay, this year I'm only going to bet unders because they seem to be the most reliable.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. And again, like 3 out of 4 of them look great. The Wizards, the Pacers, and the Celtics.
Yeah, I joked a little with you about the Knicks under was not on here for the first time, and that might actually be good. They're playing pretty well this season.
Yeah, they seem to be playing well despite Phil Jackson,
not
because of him, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. All right, that's all I really want to talk about the games with them. What else we got to talk about this? We're going to talk about Mr. Trump.
Yeah, I'll do my I'll do my DeRozan rant real fast, and then we can do the Trump and close. Yeah, we'll close out in 5 or 10 minutes. But okay, so DeRozan, so he was leading the league in points per game for a while. I think he's down to second now, but he's still at like 30 points per game or something like that. So here's some of the ridiculous headlines I'm seeing on DeRozan. You can already tell what I think about this, obviously. So Nylon Calculus, Ian Levy, an author we generally like, is DeMar DeRozan the next Michael Jordan? And he says in the first paragraph, just kidding, I'm trolling you guys, clickbaiting. He doesn't really think that, but still, he actually writes an article comparing his style to Jordan, all these pull-up mid-range jumpers. Here's another article from today, actually, Real GM. DeMar DeRozan wants to be known as the greatest Raptor in franchise history. You can do a Google search, find any number of articles about how good DeRozan is this season. This is so ridiculous, Patrick. This is such a yay points thing going on right now. So DeRozan is... I've got his shooting, his basketball reference shot chart up here. And this is a great resource, by the way. And so here's what's going on. So first of all, he's falling back down to earth already. He started out something like 66% from 10 to 16 feet. People are normally going to shoot like 40% or less from there. He's down to 56 already, so he's plummeting down. We can expect him to get back down to 40-something, low 40s.
Unless your name is Michael Jordan, your shooting percentage from that range, even if you're one of the best in the NBA, is just not going to be good.
Yeah, right? And there's an article about how Kobe Bryant, I think this is on 530, about how he's such a amazing mid-range shooter. And then we complain about that article too, because even if you're the best mid-range shooter ever, those are still bad shots, just compared to shots at the rim or threes, right? Okay, so one more thing on DeRozan, and let's go to his NBA player tracking, another great resource. So they have contested shots here, closest defender ranges. Again, these are all the same as they have been in the past. He's not getting more open shots than he used to. He's just making more percentage. So, I'm thinking that DeRozan's going to kind of continue to plummet back down to earth. He's at 30.9 points per game. It's all EA points. This is just not going to hold up. And as usual, he's not doing anything else. He's not he doesn't have a floor game. He doesn't rebound or assist or do anything like that, play much defense. So, yeah, I think this DeRozan stuff is a mirage, and he's getting way too much hype. And I'm glad that he, is loyal to Toronto and all that, and they love that they kept him there. Maybe he's a good guy, but sorry, he's just not the next Michael Jordan or Kobe or whatever. He's just the next, slightly better Allen Iverson. So
if I were in Toronto, I would hate it because a third of the cap is in him.
Yeah,
right? I mean, that's insane.
That's right. That's right.
Even if he was twice as good as we think he is, that would still be an iffy bargain. But I mean, because he's a shooting guard, right? I mean, twice your cap and a guy who's basically an average shooting guard. Ugh. Ugh. So anyway, we're going to talk about Donald Trump, but
we've got him up on screen right now. Go for it.
Are we going to? I'm just trying to think about how I'm going to live through the next 4 years, constantly seeing this ugly visage with the tiny fucking hands.
I'll say one thing, Patrick, before you get started. Oh God, I'm forgetting his name. The linguist, the left-wing activist linguist. Anyway, we'll think of his name. He said that religion is Noam Chomsky. Thank you. He said, sorry, Noam Chomsky. He said that religion is not the opiate of the masses, as Marx said it was. He said that actually pro sports is the opiate of the masses. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll be drinking long and hard from that opium the next few months as the NBA season goes on, because we need to. Yeah, Barry has a sense. Okay, go ahead with your
thing. Those of you who follow us, you know how we feel about stadiums, which is that billionaires should pay for their own fucking stadiums. Taxpayers should not pay for stadiums. Well, Trump's infrastructure plan appears to be basically a huge tax incentive for private corporations, which means the only way for any of the states and cities around the nation to actually see any of that windfall is through making deals with private corporations. If the package turns out to be the way it is, and if you read through the Vice Sports article, it'll make a little more sense than hopefully I'm making it. But basically, what it is it's a giant thing that incentivizes our cities and our states across the nation to spend money on unnecessary infrastructure like sports stadiums and things like that. Because basically, if you're the governor of a state or the mayor of a big town and you're thinking, oh, I got to get some of that Trump money, and then it turns out, but you don't need any roads because your roads are all pretty good, and you don't need any, new housing because your housing is pretty good. Like, what are you going to do? And the only way to get that money is to do things like build stadiums and things like that. So expect in the next 12 months or so, expect to see a ton, and I do mean a fucking ton, of state governments, state legislators, city councils proposing plans to build stadiums on taxpayer dimes over the next 12 months. It's going to be everywhere. I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it's going to be everywhere. And man,
well, we'll see.
I feel sorry for you. Please. I mean, I get mad about this stuff, but I am not going to be the victim here. Anytime, like if Seattle goes out and builds a stadium and attracts an NBA team, all that means is, like, if you just came up to me and asked me, hey, Patrick, would you spend $200 a year to make an NBA team happen? I'd be like, sure. But the problem is, it's not me paying $200 a year. It's me paying, I don't know, $30, $40, $50 a year. And then everyone else who doesn't give a fuck about the NBA basketball subsidizing me with their $50 a year to build that stadium. That's how it works. The sports fans, it's a great bargain for us. Anytime your team or anytime your city finances a deal for a stadium for any kind of pro sports package that you are a fan of, what's really happening is all of the non-sports fans around you, all of their tax dollars are subsidizing your entertainment. That's how it works. So if, like me, you believe that that's a very unfair way for the government to spend its money, that's not very libertarian of it, then you should oppose that, right?
Call Ron Paul.
Because it's not fair for me to get a giant free $200 to $300 a year utility value out of what my other fellow taxpayers are paying when they don't give a fuck about those pro sports, right? That would not be fair. What would be fair is asking me to pony up all the money to get my utility. But that's not how these things work.
Like personal seat licenses, right? They do that in the NFL.
Right, exactly. Because you're never going to see a tax plan that says, okay, we'll charge all the NBA fans $200 a year and everyone else doesn't have to pay a tax. That's never the way the plans are structured, right? So everybody pays $20 a year. Even you, asshole, who can't afford it and doesn't like the NBA, you're going to pay $20 a year too. That's the way these things work, right? So again, I'm not the victim. I'm not mad because I'm going to be upset with the state of affairs. I'm mad because it's not how the government should be spending its money. And you're going to expect to see a lot more of it. And you're going to expect to see a ton of bullshit trotted out about how, sports teams are good for the economy and they boost the local economy and they're good for small businesses and etc. Ever notice anytime any politician says anything is good for small businesses, what they really mean is it's good for giant corporations and maybe the small businesses might get a little bit of the fucking crumbs from the table? That's exactly what's going to happen in the next 12 months. And yeah, leaving all the other things aside that we might not be fond of in the Trump administration, this is the one sports-related thing that's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 months. And I hope you're all ready to vote on these things in a manner that's going to, be good for your communities.
We'll see what happens.
If unlike me, you're not scrupulous about this thing and you're a big NBA fan and you want that stadium and you want to collect all your fellow taxpayers' money, maybe you should go out and champion these causes. That's fine too. It's a free country. You can poll for whatever thing but generally at Boxscore Geeks, we are champions of the truth as far as economics, as economists can agree on it.
And we are capitalists.
Capitalists and economists and economists have trouble agreeing on things, but one of the things that almost all of them agree on is that the whole sports stadiums are good for the economy and pay for themselves thing is complete and utter bullshit. So just keep that in mind when your local city wants to build a giant new stadium for the local college football team to capture some of that Trump quote infrastructure money, because it's coming.
Well, we'll see. So it's already getting traction in the left-wing media. Like we've got Paul Krugman here in the New York Times saying it's a scam. So we'll have to see if, Chuck Schumer and those guys in the Senate are like, okay, we'll go along with this, left-wing outcry. Or we'll see if they're like, we want to line our pockets too. We'll go along with Trump. So we'll see if they're willing to filibuster it or not.
I wonder how many of these subcontractors are going to subcontract from Trump Industries.
So, you know what you made me think of when I said that is I don't like telling anecdotes too often on the show, but I'll tell one right now. The irony of this whole situation. So I was, a week or two ago, I was having a beer with a friend of mine who's actually coincidentally a veteran, but he, the way our conversation went was I had been in a business meeting earlier that day where we were talking to one of our vendors, and he said something like, well, with how things are going now, we know how defense spending is going to be good, or something like that. And I pointed and said, "Oh, I know what you're talking about." And I just started laughing really hard in the middle of the meeting. Everyone else kind of uncomfortably laughed. So maybe that was a bad move. But anyway, so I told this anecdote to my friend when we were having a beer, and I was like, "Look, my company sells to the military." And I'm a blue state guy, and I'm just distraught over Trump and all this stuff coming in. But I'm personally going to profit off of it in my company. Like, we're going to do great through these Trump years personally, but yet we're the people who hate that he's elected, and the red states are so happy. So the world just sucks in a lot of ways. Nothing's fair, Patrick. But I'll be happy to line my pockets from Trump.
Yeah, no, I mean... Maybe we should start a political podcast. Maybe we should try to be like, maybe we're in the wrong business. Maybe sports podcasting is not really our thing. But we're always about sports and economics. So this particular article that we're going to link to, and personally, by the way, you're linking to Paul Krugman here. I tend to not do that just because I feel like if I link to Paul Krugman, all it does is make people with more of a conservative bent just kind of bug out and not listen to what I'm saying.
Oh, that's fair.
And to me, can I say something? So, this may be a little bit of a, you listen to me talk and things we talk about on this podcast, you might think I'm a Democrat. But honestly, like about a year ago today, I was thinking, I'm probably just not even going to vote in the next election because I wasn't feeling it. I was very disappointed in the Obama administration. My biggest disappointment in Obama is that Gitmo is still there. It was like one of his big campaign promises was shut down Guantanamo Bay, and it's still fucking there. The CIA and the FBI seem to violate civil rights the way similar to they did, in the Bush administration. I don't really see a big difference there. I was very disappointed in the Democrats in general and Obama from all those perspectives. As much as I might admire him personally, I thought his administration was kind of a big failure. I wasn't even going to vote in this election. I only voted because of Donald Trump. I don't really consider myself a Democrat because what I would really love, really love, is for the Republicans to just get rid of the crazy right-wing nutjob fucking section, so that, I could be one of those classic middle-of-the-road independents that can go back and forth every 3 or 4 years because for the most part, both parties suck, right? And so I feel like the best equilibrium as a voter in a two-party system is to just kind of go back and forth. Don't let any one particular party stay in power too long, because when that happens, things get more and more corrupt. So, if you're kind of that middle-of-the-road person, your best equilibrium is to just kind of have things go back and forth every 4 to 8 years, right? And that's exactly how I feel about a lot of things, which is, I guess, why I use the word libertarian a lot. But I don't have that choice, because the Republicans have had this crazy fucking fringe doing all kinds of things that are just downright evil. And so even though I hate it, I have to be a Democrat all the time. And I don't like this. I want the Republicans to feel the normal party so I can just go back to being this guy who's like, yeah, well, okay, you got some points there, but yeah, you got some points here, instead of going, okay, you guys got some points here, and oh, you guys are crazy. Get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to have that scenario, right? That's insane.
Well, the New York Times have David Brooks too, Patrick, so you can read all the David Brooks you want in the New York Times.
Sure. I mean, so to me, David Brooks and Paul Krugman, they're two peas in a pod. They are both
I agree.
Intellectuals who have completely no fucking idea what it is like to live a normal sort of American life on a normal middle.
So to clarify on my Krugman point, I was mainly pointing him out as like example of the far left getting pissed off about the infrastructure plan. So we'll see if they put enough pressure on the center.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I would have been all in favor of the giant infrastructure plan, and even lots of ideas from Republicans on what constitutes giant infrastructure. Even a lot of those I've been perfectly fine with. But when the giant infrastructure plan just turns out to be this huge boondoggle that just says, oh, let's give all the private corporations all the money, I don't understand why you have to be left-leaning to think that that's idiotic and that it's borderline corrupt. At the very least, it's borderline corrupt. I mean, we can envision scenarios where this is full-blown, completely, utterly Berlusconi-style corrupt, right? We can envision those scenarios too. But right now I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt that you're trying to do some good things and you're just doing it in a stupid way. But, I mean, this doesn't have to be a left versus right thing. This is getting back to what I think about all the time, the issues that I care about. Like, why do these have to be Democrat versus Republican? Why do they have to be left versus right? Can't we all just fucking apply common sense and think, well, maybe just giving all the money to all the private contractors sounds a little bit too much like what happened in New York during the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. And if I recall correctly, there was a lot of corruption going on. Like, why do we want to go back to giving all the money to the Teamsters?
It's almost like the politicians care more about lining their own pockets than doing the right thing for the country.
Right, and it's not a left versus a right thing, but all I will say in the vein of Republicans versus Democrats is that the Republicans fielded a candidate where it was obvious that it was going to go down this way. Like, I mean, he basically was who he was. He is the same guy he's been for 30 years. There was no hidden tricks. It's not like he fooled anybody. A bunch of idiots just decided to go that way because they wanted to, quote unquote, drain the swamp or go in a new direction, or they wanted a guy who was, quote unquote, not a politician or whatever. But none of this is surprising. You shouldn't be thinking, wow, I never would have guessed that a guy who's lived his whole life like this is still acting like that now that he's the president.
They are loading that swamp up, Patrick. It is monsoon season right now because that swamp is going to be overflowing once Trump is inaugurated. But
and this is the thing: if you're one of those guys who voted for Trump because you just wanted to see a bunch of people who are not politicians and you wanted to like change everything, guess what? Your man's just putting a bunch of lifetime Washington people in, like, other than Bannon, who's nut job crazy, and I'm guessing at least many of you, the reasonable ones who voted for Trump, that's not what you were thinking. But I mean, the guys he's nominating and putting, like, the guys you elected, they're all the same people. Like, all those Republicans have been there for ages. If Trump was your, like, protest vote, good job. You got the same Republicans you've had for the last 10 to 15 years still in office. Nothing's changing in that front, right? I mean, it amazes me that Paul Ryan is so incredibly unpopular nationally, but that through this national vote, through the Trump vote, you're essentially greenlighting what Paul Ryan wants to do, because that's not what most of what's going to get done is the Speaker of the House. When the Speaker of the House has a majority, then most of his agenda is what gets done. Because it's extremely unusual for the Speaker of the House to do a bunch of stuff and then have the president say, no, we don't want to do that, and veto that when he's from the same party. That's not
right.
how politics work, right? So y'all hate Paul Ryan, but you elected a Republican, which means Paul Ryan's going to do all the things he wants to do. And like I said, again, I don't know how many times I have to say this. If it were up to me, every 4 years we'd just go back and forth. If it were up to me, every 4 years, each party would have to nominate somebody who would pass a bunch of tests to make sure he's not a certified fucking loon. And they can disagree politically as much as they want, as long as neither one of them is a loony and neither one of them is like a serial killer or some other kind of psychopath. And we just go back and forth. And for the most part, parties just have to work together to get things done, which for the most part means that not much will get done, which if you're a libertarian is exactly how you want it, that would all be fine. But instead, I got this, where one of the parties is just fucking out there crazy. And you're forcing my hand. I have to be a Democrat because the Republicans are acting like fucking nut jobs. That might have been a longer rant than we had time for today.
Well, let's take us out then. I got a shout out, I guess.
Unleashed my inner, like, sort of libertarian version of Glenn Beck on everybody, I think.
That was a good rant. That was a good rant. I think Glenn Beck is actually an anti-Trump guy too, so maybe.
Sure, but that's about the only thing.
So here's my shout out. I'm about to go watch the Warriors play the Lakers right now. Steve Kerr had my shout outs to him. He had a great joke about Klay Thompson, who's had a slow start to this season. A great analytics joke. He said that he's been calling him Rip Hamilton. All he does is shoot 18-footers. So hopefully that'll rub off on Klay and he'll start taking more threes.
Really? He said that? Really?
He did say that.
That's awesome.
Steve Kerr is hilarious, and he made a great joke. So, that's all my shout-outs. So, go ahead, Patrick. You can take us out.
I don't have a shout-out ready. I'm sorry. I'm a failure. Just go. Donate money so I can get rid of this.
That's right.
So I can feel like this was worth it. Because it's horrible.
Then we'll start you a Razor fund after that. Do you want to do the show close, or do you want me to?
What's the show close?
Well, find us on boxscoregeeks.com,
okay.
all that stuff.
I do my job?
You do a good job at that, actually. You do a good job at that.
Okay. All right, everybody. You can find us every week on boxscoregeeks.com. We are generally live Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays, depending on the week, at 6:30-ish Pacific time at twitch.tv/nerdnumbers. Again, we'll have this in the show links. You can also find us on iTunes by searching for Boxscore Geeks or for Nerd Numbers. You could find us on, what's the other thing? Something Tricker or Tacker? Or,
there's Stitcher.
Stitcher.
And we might be on Libsyn as well. I'm not sure if we are anymore.
It's all this new fancy social media stuff that I just not up on, I guess, even though I do this for a living. Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at NBA Geek. You can find Brian at Twitter at BoxscoreBrian. You can find Dre, who's not with us tonight, on Twitter at NerdNumbers. And did I miss anything? Did I fuck anything up?
No, that sounds good. That covers it.
Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for letting me rant.
Good
and
rant.
we'll see you all next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.